Hey friends, pull up a chair and loosen that lanyard. I'm supposed to be prepping next quarter's headcount report, but honestly, the numbers can wait because we need to talk about your numbers. And by your numbers, I mean the hours you're clocking, the raises you're chasing, and the sense that every promotion cycle is a rigged carnival game. Sound familiar? Great. Grab a refill of whatever caffeinated optimism you've got left, and let's spend the next few minutes figuring out whether your job is quietly zip-tying your potential, and more importantly, what you can do about it. And I promise, zero corporate jargon and only a moderate amount of sarcasm. Think of me as that HR buddy who pours the good bourbon after the all-hands meeting and then tells you what the slide deck actually meant. You ready? Let's get into this. The paradox no one explains. First, a quick reality check. If you skim the headlines, the labor market looks like 4th of July parade. Record low unemployment, shiny GDP balloons, confetti everywhere. Yet, here you are, rereading the same thanks for applying emails, wondering why your resume feels like a ghost story no recruiter reads past midnight. The paradox is simple. Low unemployment doesn't guarantee meaningful employment. 1 out of every 6 professionals I talk to is technically working, but wildly underutilized. Picture a Michelin chef flipping frozen pancakes at a hotel buffet. So, if you've been wondering whether you're the only one stuck in that deja vu job loop, trust me, you've got plenty of company all around the world. The question is, how do you spot the difference between a temporary plateau and a career cul-de-sac? Let's walk through the signs together, story style. First up, story 1, the day the learning stopped. So a couple of years back, I hired a brilliant analyst named Priya. Month 1, she devoured Squall tutorials for breakfast and redesigned her dashboard by lunch. By month 12, though, her biggest development opportunity was annual phishing email quiz featuring cartoon fish and neckties. Predictably, her curiosity flatlined. When a recruiter called with an offer to build predictive models for a startup, she didn't think twice. What's the moral here? When your employer treats professional growth like a compliance box, your market value depreciates faster than last year's smartphone. If your calendar hasn't seen a meaty training session since we were all making sourdough starters, that's your first red flag. Story 2, the Monday flu. Let me introduce Dan, a sales rep whose Slack status turned mysteriously out of office every other Monday. HR's rumor mill labeled him flaky, but the truth was simpler. He woke up each Sunday night with chest-tightening dread. The job wasn't toxic, it was just relentlessly dull. Dan's talent for consultative selling, getting clients to open up about half-formed problems, had withered in a role that measured success by daily call counts. Once he switched to a smaller firm that prized deep client discovery, the flu mysteriously vanished. If your body is staging weekly protests, listen to it. Chronic dread is career cholesterol. Ignore it long enough and you'll block the arteries that carry enthusiasm to your future. Story 3, invisibility cloak. Then we have May, the project manager who executed a flawless global rollout and somehow didn't even merit a shout out on the victory slide. Middle management loved her precisely because she never made waves, which is a polite way of saying they kept her in the background where the budget lines are cheaper. Look, visibility matters. People can't reward what they can't notice. If your proudest wins keeps getting filed under miscellaneous, your trajectory will plateau no matter how heroic your efforts. Story 4, the shiny handcuffs. You know this trope. Salary solid, benefits are Instagrammable, and the office plants are still alive. That's why I have fake ones. Yet you feel oddly restless. That's the golden handcuffed effect. It's comfort that cost you ambition. I've watched high potential employees trade 5 prime career years for a company branded Yeti tumbler and a slightly nicer 401k match. Here's the uncomfortable math though. A 7% raise in a 4% inflation environment nets maybe 3% of extra joy before taxes and after you factor in the opportunity cost of stagnation. If your paycheck buys complacency instead of freedom, it might be time to break the chain. Story 5, the chameleon trap. Fitting in feels good until you disappear completely. Here we have Jackson. He adopted the team's every quirk. Same jokes, same jargon, same beige button-downs. He became so culturally camouflaged that leadership literally forgot to include him on the succession chart. Blend in too well, and you'll never stand out when it actually counts. Story 6. The Blurry Future Test. Finally, picture yourself 3 years down the road. Do you see a crisp snapshot, new responsibilities, broader influence, and maybe an office with decent sunlight? Or do you see VHS static? For my younger viewers, VHS static watching a movie like Alien was like getting a horror movie within a horror movie. You've already terrified a xenomorph, and then the tape decides to add its own jump scares with random bursts of white noise that sound like the creature's literally eating your VCR. I mean, you'd be at that iconic chest burst scene, heart pounding, and suddenly the screen would dissolve into static right at the crucial moment. So now you're sitting there going, did that alien just pop out? Or did my tape have its own chest-bursting moment? And the worst part was when the static would kick in during the quiet, suspenseful parts. Ridley Scott spent all this time building that tension, and your VHS was like, you know what this needs? The sound of 1,000 angry wasps having a rave inside your microwave. And of course, the static always seemed to clear up perfectly and magically during the boring dialogue scenes. Crystal clear picture when they're talking about corporate policy. But the second someone starts getting stalked by an 8-foot tall monster, your TV goes, that looks interesting. How about some nice visual confetti instead? We basically watched Alien through the eyes of someone having a panic attack. Which, come to think of it, is probably the most accurate way to experience that movie. As I was saying prior to the tangent, if the horizon looks foggy, that's not poor imagination, it's your brain acknowledging there's no defined path. Why we stay even when we know. So why do smart people cling to roles that stunt them? Take it from someone who's counseled hundreds through exit interviews. It's called loss aversion. We'd rather keep a mediocre present than gamble on an uncertain future. The sunk cost bias. Years invested feels like anchors, even after they've lost all their strategic value. And social proof. Scroll any feed and everyone seems #blessed by their jobs, so admitting boredom feels kind of taboo. Identity fusion. Your title becomes your self-story, and changing it feels like losing a limb. None of these are moral failures. They're default settings in the human operating system. Once you see them, you can override them. So what to do next? All right, so enough diagnosis. So let's plot the actual jailbreak here. Think of the next segment as a choose your own adventure, but with fewer dragons and more LinkedIn DMs. Upgrade from within. Sometimes the simplest fix is re-architecting the role you already have. Pitch a pilot project that solves a pain point and pads the company's bottom line. Frame it as a 90-day experiment requiring no extra budget, and leadership will at least listen to it. Even if they pass, you walk away with concrete story for future interviews. I identified an untapped revenue stream and proposed a lean test. That's resume gold right there. Hop the lily pad. Maybe you're just ready for an all-new pond altogether. So start planting the seeds now. A quick saw this article, thought of you message to 3 second-degree contacts every single week on LinkedIn. Skip the resume attachment. This is about trust, not transaction. And when 2 of those pings morph into Zoom coffees, you feel the momentum shift. Opportunities surface through conversation long before they hit the job boards. Monetize a side quest. If your main gig won't flex build muscles elsewhere, I've seen employees turn weekend Tableau tinkering into lucrative freelance dashboards. The first $500 you earn moonlighting, reinvest in a course, a better mic, or whatever fuels the next level. Side quests expand your skill tree and create optionality, your most valuable currency. Pull the ripcord. Sometimes the only honest move is a clean break. If that's you, stack 6 months of living expenses. Clarify the next phase. School, startup, structured sabbatical, and exit with diplomacy. Remember, you might need those references, and you definitely want your final paycheck arriving on time. Bridges beat bonfires, and they photograph better on LinkedIn. So the breakthrough blueprint. Here's a simple arc for what you need to do. Week 1, do a self-audit. Log your daily tasks. Circle the ones that energize you and cross out the energy vampires. Weeks 2 through 3, this is your gap map. Compare your ideal next role to your current skills. Highlight the delta. Weeks 4 through 8, micro-learning. Schedule 30 minutes a day consistently trumps marathon Saturday cram sessions. And ongoing activities. You need to do network recon. Treat LinkedIn commenting like a casual sport, not a last-ditch lifeline. And quarterly, opportunity funnels. Keep 5 to 10 warm leads alive so that you never again accept stagnation out of desperation. Look, I bundled these steps into a free short PDF, head over to d2thrive.com. It's free. Wrapping all this up. Look, your job can be many things. It can be a launch pad, an autopilot cruise, or a straitjacket. The difference lies in whether you curate it or coast in it. Careers aren't lifetime vows, they're leases with renewable options. If the neighborhood's gone downhill, renegotiate or move. So here's your 72-hour challenge. Before you click away, set a tiny timer on your ambition. Pick one skill you'll invest in, one person you'll contact, and one micro action you'll take within the next 72 hours. Post it in the comments so that we can all hold each other accountable. I'll shout out my favorite progress story in the next episode. Because here at Decide to Thrive, we don't just chase salaries, we chase purpose, progress, and paychecks that respect both. And remember, thriving is a decision, not a department. Like if you like, sub if you sub, share if you share. I'm Thrive. Bye.
Whispered for down here in the cubicle trench, the pressure's rising. Time to surface.
Clocking sirens, fluorescent tide, same gray waves where my dreams capsize. Clipboard captains, paper walls so thin I can hear my purpose screaming. Let me in! Coffee mud, deja vu grime, every inbox ding is a metronome crime. Corporate currents keep my spirit sedated, but I feel the rip, this cage is outdated.
I'm drowning in routine, echo static in my head. A million sunken talents lying restless in the bed. Feel the undertow, momentum starts to crack. Heartbeat says advance, pace stub says stay back. Break the chain, rise and breathe. Golden cuffs fall to the deep. Light above, calling me, decide to thrive. Set me free, courage, stimulus, power drive. Surf the surge, come alive. All the answers, all the vibes on this side.
Sit tight, be grateful. Yeah, but gratitude dies when the ladder's a fable. Lost potential, rust like anchors in sand. I'm sick of asking, may I? Time to command. Data streams light up the map of the brave. Side quest hustle turns the grind to a wave. Weak toppings, lily pad leaps. Opportunity wakes when the night shift sleeps.
Fear is just a myth, an echo in the shell. The surface breaks above me, I can almost hear the bell. Signals cutting through the fog, a beacon in the blue. Future you is calling, I'm swimming toward the truth. Break the chain, rise and breathe. Golden cuffs fall to the deep. Light above, calling me, decide to thrive. Set me free, carry stimulus, power drive. Surf the surge, come alive. All the answers, all the vibes on decide. Feeling stuck, the tide only shifts when you do. Drop the weight, aim for the daylight. I'll meet you on the surface at Decide to Thrive.